Winter is coming, and the last thing we want to do is have to stop training just because the weather is a little bit inclement or getting a little bit colder. So I wanted to go over some of the things that I'm using depending on the temperature as it gets colder throughout the year and into early part of next year. I wanted to go over the items that I'm using to make sure that I'm still comfortable and can get a lot out of training when I'm out on the range. So we all know you need to layer when it comes to cold weather to make sure that you've got enough layers on, so if things start getting a little bit warm, you can always take them off. Let's start down at the bottom. Let's start with our legs and let's talk about layering. Basically, I have two sets of insulated underwear that I use. These first, I believe, are from Costco, 32 degree brand. And to be honest, I kind of only wear these when it's going to be a low of around 32 degrees. They are great for in the mid 30s, upper 30s into like the 40 degree weather under your pants. Feel really good, but they don't hold or keep temperature that well once it starts getting into the low 30s, maybe in the high 20s or even down into the teens. When it's gonna be a little bit cooler like that, I move over to something more substantial. I have these Patagonia insulated underwear that are Moderno wool, and I don't know what they're rated for, but I have worn these when we've taught classes in single digits and had no issues whatsoever. So definitely get yourself, at least if you're not going to train in 10 degree weather, if it's going to be in the upper 20s or 30s, at least get yourself a nice set, something like this from Costco. But if it's going to be pretty cold, go ahead and invest in something like these Patagonia, and they'll set you straight and keep you pretty warm. Next are, obviously, we're going to put on some pants. So if you're like me, it's a beautiful day out today, I can wear tactical pants, something like that, under or over top of either one of those two. But if it's going to be really cold, I'll probably go with something like this. This is a pair of, they're basically like jeans or canvas, and on the inside they are fleece lined. So these are super warm. I wear these when it is, like I said, single digits, teens, things like that. Never really got cold. I also, if it does get even colder, I do have a set of almost like snow pants that are fleece lined as well, that are a little bit thicker, a little bit more robust. But the big thing about them is it needs to have belt loops. That way I can always keep all my gear on. I can still have my holster, I can have my belt, I can have my battle belt, whatever it may be, so I can run it through the belt loops of the pants. Next, let's talk about the top side. I do have another one of these 32 degree insulated shirts from Costco. It's super lightweight. They're comfortable, but they're not going to be great for anything much lower than about 32 degrees, the name of the company. So you might want to invest in something a little bit heavier. Honestly, the only other insulated underwear or insulated shirt I have is something like Under Armour Heat Gear, but which is much better for anything below that 30 degree weather. I don't have it here with me now, but it is pretty good. Also, I have a fleece. It's a tight fleece shirt that's about a half to a quarter inch thick, and it is bought from Bass Pro Shops, and it's rated for negative degrees. I've only ever wore that shirt once or twice, and when I do, I wear that in a t-shirt and I'm good to go. So I don't think you need to go that route. It's probably not that cold around this Virginia and or Texas area, but if it's cold in your neck of the woods, you might want to check out something a little bit thicker. After I run with some sort of Under Armour or a insulated shirt, I will put on something like this Vertx flannel. This is a polyester cotton blend, pretty heavy, pretty robust. I really like the shirt itself, but when you're a little bit colder and you put it over top of some sort of insulated shirt, it's extremely warm. It's very comfortable. Also, it has special snaps, so if you're going to conceal carry or run in a concealed carry class, they break away super easily, and so it's a super cool shirt, meaning good looking, and it's warm. So don't overlook something like this Vertx. Next, I move into the Holy Grail, and if anybody knows me, they know I love a cardigan. This cardigan is from Costco. It's Orvis brand, heavy duty cardigan. These things are extremely warm. You can see that they've got like a sheepskin interior, and they're pretty thick, fairly heavy, and they keep you pretty warm. It's very rare that I will need anything over top of this if it's really cold. If it's, let's say, in the 20s or down in the teens, I will then go ahead and put something over top. But if it's in its 30s or sometimes 40 degrees, this is all I need to stay warm throughout the day. Let's talk about layering now with like a jacket. All right. The one thing I always like to do is keep my chest super warm. So a lot of times what I end up doing is, if I'm wearing that Vertx shirt, I will take a set of hot hands, crack them open, and put them down in the chest pockets just to develop a little bit of warmth in the chest, and then it'll help permeate a lot of warmth throughout your body. But the next thing I'll do is put on something like this down vest. Keeps my arms nice and free so I can still work the gun. I can still, whether it's rifle or pistol, I can still move my hands and everything, but this just helps keep the body a little bit warmer. So I definitely do enjoy putting on a vest. Next thing that I have here is a Vertx jacket. This is the Integrity, I believe, P+, and this has turned into my go-to jacket. So I used to wear an Vertx down jacket, and then from there I moved into Mountain Hardware, and I got one of their down hoodies, and then I have picked up this Vertx jacket. This has replaced those others. It's replaced the Vertx, or sorry, the Vertx, and it's replaced the Mountain. This is the warmest jacket I have. Couple things specific to shooting. It does have not only pockets, but there's zippers inside the pockets, so you can go inside of your shirt or inside the jacket for concealed carry or to get whatever you may need on your belt line fairly discreetly. Also, it has some pockets right here along the front with loop Velcro on the inside, so you can almost make a makeshift chest rig on or with the jacket by stuffing magazines, maybe some tools, flashlights, whatever you may need right here in the front. But most importantly, it's one of the warmest jackets I have. So I am really a big fan of that. Lastly, you got to keep your head warm. So I go just about once a year, I get on Amazon and I buy a bunch of these like watch caps. They're fleece lined watch caps. They're not the heaviest duty, but they work fairly well. The benefit about these is they stretch enough where you can put them over top of something like a baseball cap, so you can still have the visor for when you're shooting, because you don't want brass in your face or the sun glare and things like that. So you can put these over top of your hat and still have a brim on your hat. Also, if it gets really, really, really cold, I know last couple of years, we've taught in single digit classes, and I have a big toboggan that I can put on, almost like a Russian hat with the fur, and that keeps me really, really warm. The last thing I will add, I don't have it here, but you're gonna need some really good wool socks. I really like Darn Tough wool socks. That's what I use, with some nice heavy duty boots depending on the weather. The Darn Tough socks just seem to hold up really well and are extremely warm, and they sell them in different thicknesses and different weights, so get what works for you. But you do need a nice set of socks, nice set of wool socks to keep your feet nice and warm. So don't let the weather dissuade you from training. You need to be out there in the cold, learning how to run your firearm when it's a little bit not the perfect weather. Everybody wants to be out there like a day like today when it's 65 degrees and sunny and beautiful, and wants to get out there and train, but the time you're going to actually pay the biggest dividends are when you're out there when it's 15 degrees, maybe it's a little bit of rain, maybe it's snowing a little bit, or it's just cold and miserable. Get out there, train, see how it works for you, and we'd love to see you out there no matter what the weather is. But even if it's cold, make sure you get your gear squared away, get out there and train with us. Thanks, and we hope to see you out there on the range.